Chinese scholars say lack of free speech and putting ideological correctness over all fueled China's Cultural Revolution. As some are concerned about current state of the U.S., we revisit some features of the 1970s communist movement that brought consequences to the country.
Some Chinese dissidents say they are worried about big tech's silencing of dissents. They say overemphasizing political correctness might develop into a movement similar to China's Cultural Revolution in the 1960s and 70s. Others say drawing parallels between America's democratic society and communist China is far-fetched and unwarranted. To understand the debate, we need to first look at what the Cultural Revolution in China actually involved. Chinese scholar Cheng Xiaonong previously summarized the four social backgrounds of the revolution.
The first is the lack of freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and freedom of movement under the Communist Party's totalitarian system. The second is the extreme personal worship of former CCP leader Mao Zedong. The third is to mobilize every single person in society to get involved in political campaigns. The fourth is that ideological correctness became the only criterion for judging everyone's words and actions.
In China, the suppression of freedom of speech reached a peak during the Cultural Revolution. What replaced the free press is what's called a big character poster. Posted by the Communist Party's Red Guards, the posters often contain vicious words condemning individuals who disagree with the CCP. The content is often politically judgmental instead of logical or based on factual evidence. Those who are targeted have their words cut out of context, which are used to label them. Later in the movement, the posters essentially served as warrants for arrests and home searches. During the Cultural Revolution, any criticism of Mao was deemed anti-revolutionary, and all aspects of society were linked to political struggles. Then there's the communist doctrine of ideological correctness above everything. Under most free societies, people are innocent until proven guilty. There has to be either preponderance of the evidence, clear and convincing evidence, and/or evidence beyond a reasonable doubt before someone is convicted. Under the CCP's jurisdiction, due process was replaced by so-called struggle sessions, a phenomena that reached its peak during the Cultural Revolution. The targets of such sessions are those deemed oppressors of the poor and powerless. They would be subjected to public humiliation and verbal and physical assault until they are forced to confess their sins, condemn themselves, and beg for mercy.
Another product scandal is plaguing Chinese consumers, this time featuring a poisonous baby lotion. Reports say the cream causes growth defects and other health problems.